What's going on, everyone? Earlier today, LeBron James signed a 2-year, $97 million extension with the Los Angeles Lakers, and it is go time. Now, you have the commitment from LeBron James for at least the next 2, maybe possibly 3 years, because he did sign a 1+1. Now, he could opt in to that second year of the extension, ride it out with the Lakers, or he could end up leaving, very likely to go play with the Sun for a year or two, but I think it depends on what is the state of the Lakers, right? If the Lakers win a championship or two and LeBron feels like, hey, we are still in contention here, I imagine he opts in and will stay with the Lakers as long as they are in contention to win championships and LeBron is at that high level, or until he's ready to retire. It's like, okay, let me play one more year, play with my son, and then, I'll retire and ride off into the sunset. But if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you have to start making moves. It is go time. And personally, I could be completely wrong. This is just a thought. LeBron James signed that extension because he knows something we don't know. What that is, who knows? But the timing of LeBron James' extension is just odd because he doesn't have to sign the extension till June. Now, if he's worried about, hey, what if I get hurt or something happens, which I don't think he is worried about, but let's say he's concerned to that, you still have like a month and a half, 2 months before you have to actually start the season. So he could have signed it right before the season. He had time, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when he had the meeting with the Lakers. He could have signed it then and there, but didn't. He could have signed as soon as he became eligible on the 4th, but he didn't. So it's just odd that just randomly today we wake up and LeBron James signs an extension with the Lakers. So I imagine the Lakers either A, just wanted a commitment from LeBron, and therefore they were like, hey, you give us a commitment, we'll start making these moves here. Or B, they said, hey, we got this deal over here or this deal over here or whatever. Are you ready? Like, let's go. Let's get the extension. Let's get this in. Because LeBron staying and signing the contract extension basically eliminates any flexibility for the Lakers for the future. Now, they will have anywhere from like $20 to $31 million at the most and salary space for next season, even with LeBron locked in. But it's not enough for a max for like a superstar player. That's maybe it gets Kyrie, maybe it doesn't. But I think LeBron opted in or signed this extension because he knows something is happening. The Lakers are now in a position to go make a trade, go make a move, which I believe they will. The Lakers have talked about they're going to make a trade. Something's happening. Something's coming. And up until this point, it's been stagnant. It's just been nothing, white noise essentially. And could this mean Kyrie's coming? Kyrie and LeBron are probably talking. Now, I'm not saying that he's absolutely coming, but in my opinion, it's a good sign. I mean, LeBron signed this extension for a purpose. Like I said, he could have signed it, like, why today out of all days? Why not tomorrow or, a week from now or a month from now? Or whatever. Why not just ride it out through the season and then you have the flexibility? Because without the LeBron extension, the Lakers would have had anywhere from $80 to like potentially $100 million, depending on how much the salary cap goes up, stuff like that. Like the Lakers would have been in a fantastic situation. I'm not saying LeBron would have had to take a pay cut or anything, but you could have went and got a guy and then he signed the deal, this, that, and the other. There were options for the Lakers if LeBron didn't do an extension. But if you go trade for a guy like Kyrie, you get Kyrie Irving's bird rights. So you can sign him to go over the cap. So it would make sense that, hey, we'll lock in LeBron now. We'll go and trade for Kyrie Irving. If we get Kyrie Irving, then we don't have to worry about anything else. Who cares what happens during the offseason, right? At that point, you're in a great place. You got Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. And I don't think the Lakers will mess around with Kyrie Irving. I think that they will very likely extend him. But if they want to ride it out this season and then, retain his bird rights and then see what develops, what kind of free agents are available to try to sign and then, kind of work it out, it's a possibility. Lakers would have flexibility, but they would have to go and trade for Kyrie Irving. If they don't trade for Kyrie Irving, then who knows if you have enough money to sign Kyrie? Because Kyrie, he's still going to want a max. And I don't think any team's going to give him a max, but he might go to the team that would give him the most money. And if that's not the Lakers, then he might not go to the Lakers. Now, if he really wants to go to Lakers, like I said, the Lakers could clear, $31 million essentially in cap space. So $31 million, his max is like 35 million. So he'd have to take a couple million pay cut, something along those lines. And there you go. here's your max or close to the max. You got to take the pay cut. Sorry. And if they also, depending on how they operate, do the contract, stuff like that, the Lakers could also have the full mid-level exception. So the Lakers could have flexibility this season, even with the LeBron extension. But it's go time now. We've waited. Nothing's happened. Nothing's developed. The Lakers have made all these promises of stuff that they're going to do. Whether it's Kyrie, if it's Kyrie, great. Give me Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, I think, just takes this Lakers team to another level entirely, more so than any other trade. But if it's not Kyrie, go do the Indiana deal. Like, if Kyrie is not on the table anymore, or, the Lakers don't think it's going to happen, then just go do the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner deal. Go get that done. Because same thing. Get the bird rights, you get all that stuff, you can sign them, and this could be a team that could still be very good. I mean, a starting five of, say, LeBron, Walker, say Kendrick Nunn if you want, just for like that scoring, or if you want to go more defense, say like Troy Brown Jr., Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, and there you go. You're good, right? There's your starting five. You got LeBron playing the point guard and, being the facilitator. You got your two guards and wings to kind of play that defense. You got Miles Turner and Anthony Davis down low, just being solid. And, just being that wall, those twin towers down low. I am all for that. I think this trade is a great trade next to the Kyrie trade. I still think Kyrie is better, but it's go time. Like I said, we got to start making a move. It's time to start pushing the chips to the table and go all in. I don't believe the Lakers are just going to say, okay, we're going to stand pat. LeBron signed that extension because he knows something. Again, that doesn't mean it's Kyrie Irving. That doesn't even mean it's this Indiana trade. But there's no way LeBron was going to sign that extension and the Lakers were like, yeah, we're not going to trade our first round picks. We're just going to keep them. We want flexibility. We don't know where we're going to be in 5-7 years. And like we heard about the conversation, what the conversation entailed from Rich Paul. He said, that the Lakers want to build a contender year in and year out around LeBron James. As long as they have LeBron James, they will do whatever they have to in order to ensure that he has a championship team around him. Right now, he does not have a championship team around him. And the only way you get to that level is, in my opinion, the Pacers deal and definitely the Kyrie Irving deal. Those two deals are the only deals that I think make you at least in the conversation for a contender. Utah, I don't think gets you there. I think it makes you better, and could they make a deep playoff run? Could, the luck of the dice kind of go your way here and there, and maybe you walk into a finals? I don't rule it out entirely. Like, if you got, Bogdanovich, let's say Jordan Clarkson and Malik Beasley, something like that, right? You get the two big wings, you get the guard. Maybe those guys with LeBron and Davis and the rest of the team you have, maybe they can kind of make some noise. Maybe they could be some solid contributors. But I don't think it's like, that team could be a serious threat. Same thing with the Knicks deal. Same thing with all the other deals that have been rumored with the Lakers. I think it's the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner is option B, and then the Kyrie Irving is option A. But if that's not on the table, go do this deal. And now look, I don't blame the Lakers for waiting and being patient on this deal. This deal isn't going anywhere. They don't have to worry about Miles Turner isn't getting traded, this time tomorrow, or Buddy Hield. Like teams aren't banging on the door to go get these two guys. And it's not that they're not great players. It's just Buddy Hield's on like a $40 million contract still for the next 2 years. He has like 18 and some change this year, and then it bumps up to like 19 and some change next year. Miles Turner is a free agent and could just walk. So what teams are, trading for these two guys? They're great players, but nobody's trading a bunch of assets to get these guys when one's on a bad contract and the other is a guy that could just leave you and walk and just say, I want to test free agency. The Lakers would be in a position to stay there. Miles Turner himself has said he would be open to going to the Lakers and would love to play for the Lakers. So maybe you have that commitment. But I think the Lakers are going to start making moves. I think we're going to see some push in the coming days. I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing reports ramp up about the Lakers starting to be more aggressive in trade talks. There's been the reports that, hey, the Lakers are willing to give up the 2 first-round picks. Now, Jovan Buha was the first one to announce that, and then he came out and said, no, I wasn't saying that that's what the Lakers are going to do. I'm just saying that If I was the Lakers, that's what I would do. Like, that would be my intentions if I was them. But we all of a sudden saw a bunch of reports the days after that were like, no, the Lakers really do plan on giving up the 2 firsts in a Kyrie deal. So I don't know. Could it be something? Could it be not? I mean, the Lakers are going to have to give up 2 firsts regardless. And the thing is, it's not that the Lakers don't want to. The Lakers are, because you're going to have to give up a first to get rid of Westbrook, and then you have to give up a first to get whatever deal you have to get. So I don't think the Lakers are against giving up both first-round picks. I think the Lakers they want the right deal to do it, which I'm okay with. You don't want to do a deal that just to say you did a deal. Like, you don't want to go get Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and, Derrick Rose. And Julius Randle is the player he was last year that was worse than Westbrook. And now you're stuck with these guys for 4 years, and it's a total disaster. Like, that's not what you want to happen. And now you're in the Luol Deng, Timothy Mozgov situation all over again. You still have Westbrook off the books. Worst case scenario, if this is the team you have going into the season, hopefully Westbrook can make it work. Personally, I think Westbrook's gone. I think Westbrook knows he's gone. Westbrook wants out. I think the Lakers want to get rid of him, and I do think they're going to make a deal. They gave the Westbrook deal a soft deadline of the trade deadline, or not the trade deadline, training camp. So we have about a month before they actually have to pull off an actual trade based on their timeline, but I think it comes sooner rather than later. Like, LeBron signed that extension for a reason. Today, for whatever reason, he decided today is that day. And I don't think he just woke up, ate some good pancakes, and was like, man, those pancakes were delicious. Let me go sign a 2-year extension right now. I don't think that's what it is. I think that they had a conversation and they said, hey, Bron, this is what is going on. We need you to commit right now, and we'll go do this. And LeBron said, okay, where do I sign? And LeBron signed the extension. Now the Lakers are probably working behind the scenes to try to go put something together. What that is, I don't know. But I do think it's something. I do imagine within the next week, we see something happen. This is just an educated guess. I don't know. There's no reports. There's no inside information. I'm just some dude on the internet. But I just think it's strange that LeBron James signed the extension today just randomly. Like, nothing LeBron does is random. LeBron is one of the smartest players in the league when it comes to on the court and behind the scenes and the way that this all works. There is no way LeBron just woke up today and was in a good mood and signed a $97 million extension. It was a purpose, because he could have signed it at any time. Like I said, he didn't have to sign it today. He could have signed it tomorrow, or he could sign it a week from now, or a month from now, or a week ago. Like, why today? I just think that the Lakers and him had a conversation, and they called him up and said, hey, Bron, this is what's developing. This is what's unfolding. This is what we can go do. Maybe it's the Buddy Hield to Miles Turner deal. Maybe it's the Kyrie deal. Maybe it's another deal. Whatever it is, LeBron probably said, I like that. Go do that deal. And they were like, we need you to sign this extension. And he said, okay, I'll sign the extension and you go do that deal. And he signed the extension. That's my thought process. That's what I'm thinking. Now, whether these 3 are still on the team or not at the end of the year, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it develops. I really believe Westbrook is gone. I really think Westbrook is done as a Laker. But I don't know. The other alternative is nothing happens and LeBron really just decided to sign it today. I think that's a little weird. But maybe he did. Maybe it is just as black and white as it appears. And it's just, hey, look, LeBron, he thought it over for 2 weeks and decided, all right, I'll sign the extension now. I'll give you my commitment, and then you guys go figure it out. That could be a real possibility, and maybe he's stuck with Westbrook for a year. The Lakers, if they keep Westbrook and they just kind of ride it off, then yeah, they'll have anywhere from $20 to $31 million, or just under $32 million that they could use next season, depending on how they structure everything and work everything out. But I think now is go time. I think now is time to start putting the pieces together to go put a team together. I think now that you have LeBron locked in, now you can go take some long-term salary. I'm not saying bad contracts. I'm not saying anything like that. But if you did the Buddy Hield to Miles Turner deal, then you're getting long-term salaries, because you're not trading for Miles Turner only for a 1-year rental. You're trading for Miles Turner to extend him and sign him and keep him on the team for the next, several years. That's what you're doing in that deal. So now's go time. Now you go and make a deal like the Pacers deal, or, go get Kyrie Irving, because now you're taking on those long-term salaries. And the Nets here's the other thing too, got to keep in mind, just popped in my head. The Nets want the Lakers to take Joe Harris. The Lakers were resistant to take Joe Harris because of his salary. Because one, they don't know if he's going to play. And two, he has basically a Buddy Hield deal. 2 years, roughly $40 million total during those 2 years. The Lakers didn't want to take that deal because they didn't have the extension from LeBron, and it becomes kind of risky. If LeBron doesn't leave, then we don't have the financials. It becomes a mess. Now we're in trouble. Now we're in serious trouble. But now that they got the extension from LeBron, they can take on Joe Harris, and it's not a big deal because they can make the trade to take Joe Harris and Kyrie Irving on. That deal's done. They extend Kyrie Irving, and you're good. Not just that, they'd have the bird rights, so they'd be able to sign him to go over the cap. So that's another thing that could be huge, because that was the whole thing. The Brooklyn Nets wanted the Lakers to take Joe Harris, but the Lakers did not want to take him because they wanted to keep the cap flex. Now you sign LeBron James, you don't have that cap flexibility like you did if you didn't. So now it makes sense to take on salary. So let's take on that salary. Let's take on a Joe Harris and Kyrie Irving. Maybe you can even work it out to get another piece or two. I just think that this is a real possibility. I think we could be looking at within the coming days, and don't be surprised if you start hearing reports that the Lakers are making a move, the Lakers are making a deal. But anyway, as always, those are my thoughts and opinions, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Lakers and LeBron signing this extension? Do you think, yes, now's go time, push the chips to the table, let's go, let's get a deal done? Or do you think, no, be patient, ride it out? I have been a huge advocate for the Lakers to remain patient. The time is now. Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn. He's doing everything he can to force his way out. Now you need to start putting some pressure on the Nets. You need to start, ramping it up and say, hey, here, let's do this deal. Let's get it done. Let's get it over with. We got LeBron locked in. We'll take Joe Harris now. You get everything you want. You get the 2 first. We take Joe Harris. It's a win-win. Everyone's happy. Maybe you work out a 3-team deal and you send Miles Turner to the Nets. I don't know. You figure it out. You figure out what you have to figure out is a big thing. But anyway, again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.